Let's bring you to this now. The IEC has distanced itself from a widely circulated message claiming that it's granted permission for everyone over the age of 60 to cast a special vote on the 27th and 28th at the polling station where they registered. The Commission stresses that the message does not emanate from it. The IEC has re-emphasized the general principle of election administration that voters must vote where they are registered. But in the event a voter intends to be in a different voting district or voting on voting day, such a voter must notify the Commission of their intended absence from their voting district and must identify the voting station where they wish to cast the vote. Known as Section 24A notices, it says these are live on its website, elections.org.za. Notifications in this regard will close on the 17th of May 2024. Now, for more, we're now joined by IEC CEO Sy Mamabolo. Thank you so much for your time. So these are very, crucial elections that we're going into, and already, as we've just said, are seeing misleading information circulating a few weeks just before the voting day. Just talk to us about, the implications of misleading information that is currently being circulated, especially this one that relates to over 60-year-olds.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. It is quite important that all South Africans who are registered on the voters' roll to know that there are two categories of special votes. There are those special votes which can happen at the voting station, and any person, irrespective of their age, is entitled to apply for such a special vote. The application closes this Friday, the 3rd of May. So anyone, irrespective of their age, if they won't be within their voting district on election day, have an opportunity to apply to cast a special vote at the voting station either on the 27th of May or the 28th of May. Then the second category is people who are infirm, people who have impaired mobility, who are not able to go out of their houses or places such as hospitals. Those people can also apply for a special vote to be visited at home. But visitations at home is only for people who are infirm or who have impaired mobility. Again, those special votes will be cast on the 27th and 28th of May. Now, all these two categories of special votes have nothing to do with the age. They just have to do with your circumstances and the fact that you have to apply before Friday, the 3rd of May. Now, if a person has already applied and they have confirmation either through email or SMS, that stands. Nothing is wrong with that. If you have applied and you've received confirmation, that stands. Nothing is wrong with that. Already, as of today, this morning, we had approved close to 900,000 special votes as a commission.
So you've clarified, of course, the parameters as it relates to special votes. And I think that's important. I think we will continue to see you, coming on the air to just clarify a lot of the misinformation that will presumably be, out in public. There's another, of course, information that's out there. In fact, in this text message, it basically says and encourages people to spread the word. It also says and encourages people that are over the age of 60 that they will be given priority and to arrive early at voting stations. Can you clarify what then happens when someone goes to vote on the 29th of May, whether it is somebody over the age of 60 or otherwise?
Yes, when a person arrives at the voting station on the 29th, obviously a priority will be given to our elderly citizens. Let's just assume the elderly person has not applied for a special vote to vote early. But if they come on the 29th, to the front of the queue. And then those of us who are much younger will obviously be given a second opportunity after the elderly have voted. Really, it is as part of our caring attitude as a commission that we help those who are older and of advanced age. They'll be given priority on the day.
Mr. Mamabolo, let's talk now about just your collaboration with, various entities to try and address the misinformation. You've collaborated with Media Monitoring Africa, various social media platforms, to try and combat disinformation ahead of the elections. How worried are you as the IEC that, in fact, the spread of this misinformation points rather to the lack of voter education by the IEC political parties and could actually further, negatively impact on your credibility?
No, I wouldn't say so. The need to give voter information and do voter education is shared between many stakeholders, primary of which is the IEC itself. And as you would have seen through the partnership that we have with the SABC, there's been vigorous balloting education around the 3 ballots, around special votes, applications, and so on. Of course, voter education will not necessarily negate the propagation of misinformation and disinformation. Hence, we appreciate an opportunity such as this to clarify for the public the correct position. It is always a threat to the credibility of the process to have instances of disinformation and malinformation. Hence, they need to be countered by opportunities such as this. They need to be countered by a voter education program, which is happening on TV, on radio, community radio stations, even at the community level in face-to-face sessions that our democracy education facilitators are conducting.
So we, of course, heard, during that security cluster briefing that the GCIS will also be monitoring social media platforms to look at, the spread of misinformation, de-information, and, of course, misleading statements. Are you working closely with entities like GCIS? How are the collaborations going between the various stakeholders that are involved?
Well, the spectrum of disinformation is so pervasive that we have to collaborate. No one entity will be able to deal with disinformation. Hence, the need and partner across a spectrum of institutions, state, private, and otherwise. So we are working with GCIS. We are working with them within the context of the priority committee on elections, which is a net joint structure, and so on. And we're happy with the quality of that cooperation and the need really to get out information out there to members of the public. They are putting shoulder to wheel, which is something that we really appreciate.
Another matter, while I have you, on the show, is that, of course, of the various court cases that are currently, in front of your radar that a lot of people, of course, and entities are worried about in terms of how they will affect the upcoming elections. Just talk to us about what your hopes then are, particularly as it relates to the 10th of May, a court date, and other issues that have since come out, during this process ahead of the elections.
Well, any dispute is one which concerns the Commission. And to the extent that we have raging disputes at this time ahead of the election is naturally worrisome. But of course, to the extent that the Commission is a litigant, we will be cooperating with the directions issued in respect of the matters. We are filing our answering affidavits in 3 matters before the Constitutional Court today. And next week, these matters will be argued. And hopefully, the Constitutional Court is able to give the country outcomes quite expeditiously so as to create certainty. Elections requires certainty because certainty ensures that there is stability and so on. So it is really our wish and hope that we are able to find resolution to these matters rather expeditiously.
All right, Mr. Mamabolo, thank you so much for your time. That was, of course, the IEC's CEO, Sy Mamabolo.